Now we are almost in the last verse of second chapter. And the concept was going on that the example of ocean, which has got very relevant connection with me and especially my problem. That's why we call this samsara is maha samsara. And always we want to run away from this samsara. It's like the creature that is in ocean wants to run away from ocean. Forget about creature. The wave wants to run away from ocean. Is it possible? Will it be possible? And we all think that we can run away from samsara. We can do really independently something from samsara. So how far it is possible, that you know better. So with this background, let us look at the last verse so that it becomes easier. Mayanantamaham bodha bodho आश्चर्यं जीववीचयः उद्यन्ति घ्नति खेलन्ति प्रविशन्ति स्वभावतः. Says, look, very nice way of putting it, because in the last class we discussed that look, like, this jiva becomes a vanija, a businessman, and everywhere wanted to do transaction. That's how we come across this point. Prayojana vina mandopina pravartate. Without any benefit in mind, without thinking something that I am going to achieve or I am going to get, even if a mandaha, even if a dull person does not move. So anywhere and everywhere we look for something or other, and that is how our system, education system present day especially, makes you insecure and whole life work behind insecurity so that the system will continue. It is exactly like, like let us say, there is a game I have seen somewhere. Like there will be huge, let us say, round plate type, and it keeps moving slowly. So when you are outside, you feel like getting into, because the moment you get into that, then what happens? Nothing like, that plate keeps moving by itself, rotating by itself. So you are curious. And if you do not go, people say, what are you doing it? And especially those who are there, somebody making wow, ooh, somebody crying, a lot of things are there. Then what you do? You join in that. Once you get in, what happens? What choice you have? You don't have any other choice other than what? Running. Forget about that. Look at this treadmill. Because why I gave this thing? Because here you can compare. There are many people. Somebody falls down, somebody wakes up. And then again, what happens? As long as you are running, you will be able to sustain yourself on that rotating plate. The moment you stop or your pace comes down, you will be not only left behind, here you will fall down, you will get crushed. And out of fear, what you do? Physically, you cannot run. Mentally, you run. You understand? The exact scenario people go through in the life rotating plate. However, here he says, look, let me not be first of all a jiva. And even if I become a jiva, means individual, at least let me not become a vanija. And he says, why and how? So he comes this last verse beautifully that Mai Ananta Maha Ambadhu Jiva Vichaya Asyaryam Udyanti Gnati Khelanti Pravishanti Shvavataha. So what I need to do? He says, look, now I am someone. Mai Ananta Mahambadho. In me, that entire ocean is there. So that means in me, the infinite ocean. Why? Because Aham Ananta Sarvadhara, same point. So I am Ananta, endless. And there cannot be two endless either. So the ocean has to be in me. In fact, ocean indeed is me. This is the example. Now what happens? I am the Adhara. I am the substratum of all waves. Here I am the substratum of all prapancha, the entire universe. And interestingly, what happens? How the taranga starts, coming. Here also, same thing, different type of problem, different type of solutions, different type of, you can say, world pops up. So that's why he says, Asmin Atmani Sarva Prapancha Tarangavat Avabhasate. Like taranga, like wave, it appears. That's why he says, Jiva Vichaya Iti. So that means what? See, same thing also. Here, Jiva is nothing that Teva Vichaya. So Vichaya means Taranga ityarthaha. So that means what? Now Jiva is considered as waves. Jiva Vichaya Iva. And what happens? Interestingly, very nicely, here he wants to highlight why. Taranga does not have, the wave does not have independent existence. When Taranga does not have independent existence, so also Jiva does not have independent existence than me. So that means I don't exist without me. So that would be the right way of putting it. I means ahankara does not exist or cannot exist independent of me. Wherever ahankara, there is me. And he says this point, that's why when sutantrata nasti iti, because abhinatvat being one, now he says, look, ascharya iti. So why ascharya? Why it is wonder? So that's why it is called wonder. Very nice way of looking at. Because in reality, that prapancha sambhava nasti. In reality, world cannot manifest. There is no possibility of world getting manifested. But anubhava gochara, it's my experience, your experience. So when it is common experience, that means what? There is something. It cannot in reality exist. Not possible. But we all are experiencing. Don't you think it is wonder? So this is called pramana buddhi. So that's why we try to, simplify with this, with the two examples. One is personal example, one is common example. So personal example is your dream. When you get into dream, the dream world is real for you as a dreamer. The moment you come out of the dream, now what happens? That dream completely falsifies. You say, oh, and if you're smart enough, you'll say, what? My subconscious mind projected. That's all. So it can be prevention or it can be my suppressed emotion. Both way you can interpret, absolutely no problem. But as long as you are under the spell of your dream, what happens to you? Please try to understand this point. So when you are under the spell of your dream, so definitely you consider your dream is real to you. That is what is being highlighted here. Now, second level of example we give called this mirage. Because this is personal anubhava, which is really, which cannot be questionable. But with reference to mirage, what happens? Now, you see mirage, I also as a co-passenger see mirage. You see water body, I also see water body. So that is a common anubhava. So the anubhava, when there is a common, neither you can question nor anybody. In fact, 10 people are brought in. All the 10 people say there is water body. So your eyes sees. And of course, what is your inner feeling also says yes. What is inner feeling? Your guts is your insecurity. Remember another point. If you are not disciplined, your intuition is nothing but projection of your insecurity. Many people use their intuition as everything. That's why many people ruin themselves, not because of anything. Yes, I do accept, I do agree with reference to intuition. Intuitive mind is something good, provided if you are well disciplined. If you are not disciplined, your intuition is nothing but your mere projection. And when you start working, on your projection stating that it is an intuition, then what happens? Only disaster comes. You work to justify, to prove. Coming back to the point here. So there are two types of anubhava. One is personal, other one is common. So when both types of anubhava is there, now what is to be done? I need to look at whether anubhava is dragging anubhavi, the one who is experiencing, or anubhava is based on anubhavi. Most important point. But most of the time, anubhava, the experience, drags the experiencer. And when experience drags experiencer, then what happens? Now experiences makes the experiencer to dance according to the projection, according to the experience. That's why it is called ascharya. Asambhavapi anubhava gochara. Even if it is not possible, it is impossible. In reality, it is not, it does not exist, but it is available for my experience. And not only that, udyantiti, utpati, as though the wave arises. That's why I enjoy, especially when you go to, when your mind is not okay, go to the beach, you enjoy how the waves are coming. Because it has a direct connect with your mind, because water and mind. Not only udyati means udyanti, utpativa, gnanti ti. So gnanti means what? Very nicely. What is what? Because you have to see, he uses this word also very carefully. So when he says gnanti means what? They collide, they strike with each other. So how does it happen? That also we need to see here. That means what? When they start colliding with each other, here we also collide with each other. Because of that reason, Shukham and Dukkham comes. Both pain and pleasure comes when we start relating the Vyavahar. The Vyavahar is nothing but Gnati colliding. How the wave hits with another wave. Now what happens? And here also, if there is no sukha, you can say, no, I don't relate with anybody, still there is, I have pain, there is pleasure. How is it possible? Yes, because as long as there is wind, when it, collides with wind, the water collides with wind, what happens? The wave forms. So what is the wind? Manavata, mind. So that creates. And when that happens, then he says, yes, not only that, khelantiti. That is what very carefully we use word. Khelanti means playing, move about. In fact, whole life is lilait. Very few people understand that the life is lila. That's why we use this word with reference to gods. Maybe if you understand this concept, you are God. Whatever God does, what we say, it is God's lila. Ishvara lila. This is the word we use. It is Ishvara's play. When we say Ishvara's play, you can see how the difference. I don't know whether you remember or not. It was there those days. Nowadays things have changed. Especially those days, girls, they do very nice. Small girls, when they grow up, uh, when they find some sand, they will build a castle. Nicely they'll make, and cooking items, this that they'll cook, because from the childhood that's was in the system. Even if it was not there, it was being put, injected. And they will make a house, how to take care of that, it's very nicely. In fact, as they start with the small, as the child keeps growing, will make bigger and bigger, and same child, when gets married and all these things, able to take care of family. Nowadays what happens, the moment the child is born, especially girl child, father wants to bring up her as a son, starting with the dressing, hairstyle, this that. No, you are my son, I don't see any difference. You don't see any difference, or you are suppressing something, you understand? This is called hypocrisy. How? Then what happens, you know better. I don't want to get into. So the topic here is, when the child starts doing it, another child comes and, no, this is not good. This house is not good, or this is not good. Then what happens? The child starts crying. While crying, that girl will come to the mother. Hey, look, said that I'm not good. I did not do this thing. Then mother explains, after it is game, don't worry. But child takes it very seriously. So as an onlooker, you see, it's really childish. But for the child, it's not childish, it is real. How the child goes through the pain that time, in fact, with reference to any activities we all go through. That's why the beauty is, once you go through something, after coming out, observe. And if same thing gets repeated, never ever get worried or bothered. That's the beauty. But what happens for you? There is improvement. There is no change. Yes, Swamiji, earlier when I was having, because it's like, you have habits. Earlier you had cold, so you used to take some medicine. With 1 tablet or 3 tablets, it was good. Okay. Now you need 4 tablets or 5 tablets. The dose increases. Now for life is nothing, increasing the dose. I have not observed. The comfort dose has increased or not. Every dose, dependence dose, has increased or not. In fact, more people want to be independent or pretend to be independent because they cannot accept that I can depend upon somebody and others should know that I am dependent. This is a new craze, new disease. That's why they become more fragile. But outwardly, they pretend they are great. And this is not my topic, okay? I am going out of the topic. And he says, look, now this Swabhavata, what happens here? Khelanti, pravishanti iti means layaha puna, they go back. How this happens with reference to this wave? Same thing with reference to Jiva and me or Prapancha and me. Then what happens? That means in reality, me and individuality, I and me are not different. Whenever that I becomes, that's a small I, big I, or I would rather say, when the I becomes the louder than the situation, that means I wants to be different from me. Is it clear? When I wants to be louder than the situation, that time the I wants to be different from me, or I already is different from me, rather. And that I, who is already different from me, cannot be convinced unless gets beaten up with this understanding. What I need to do now, quickly, oh, already time up, huh? What's happening? I was thinking to give you, this summary of this chapter. Okay, quickly, we can do it. So with this, the second chapter is completed. As all of you know, the second chapter was nothing but nididhyasana. So being nididhyasana, so what we see very nicely and carefully, that first it was saying that how that this being, mainly the point was being highlighted, that how that I am Niranjana Santaha Bodha iti, what is my nature, which was been already talked in the first chapter, and this self-reflection or nididhyasanam is done by Raja Janaka with different examples, because he tries to recollect all the examples which we took longer time to explain, because during nididhyasanam time you need to work with your habitual error. As all of you know, just observe this point, that when Sravanam is done clearly, carefully, then only Mananam can take place healthily. And only when Mananam is healthily done, then only Nitidhyasana will happen, sometimes without your knowledge. Unfortunately, when the Sravanam itself does not happen, does not take place. I remember there was a master very nicely used to say, in fact, I can bring Swami Chinmayananda Maharaj in this regard. When he asks something, he will give clear instruction. Go to the room, left side, this self, this is there, bring it. Then what happens? The curious cats, they will go to the room instead of looking, because looking that will go around everything, bring some other thing and say, I didn't find. And Swami Shirmanand used to quote, you don't ask me, okay? In few cases, he has said, when you don't listen to a small thing that I asked you to go to the room, get this thing. How can you listen Brahma Vidya, Brahma Jnana? That means you are wasting time. You are not fit to become a brahmachari. Get out. Which is truth. That's why those days, when a person comes to ashram, what the guru will say, take the cow, do this. Or take care of the ashram till I open my mouth or till I feel you are ready. And the Shishya doesn't come in between and say, hey, look, already 10 years I am sitting or doing in the same job. So that means what? You didn't listen to me that time. Unless Shravanam is being done carefully, properly, Mananam will not happen. Mananam means what? Working with your way of thinking. Weakening, Sithilikaranam, we say, loosening your way of thinking. So the strength of your way of thinking has to come down, become secondary to the Mananam. And of course, Nitidhyasanam is nothing working with your habitual error. In spite of this, still habitual error will continue. And this chapter being combination of both Mananam and Nitidhyasana. That's why Raja Janaka gave different logics to just shut his mind, not exactly his mind because he was wise. He was kind enough for us, for our mind, okay, to shut down. With this, the second chapter is completed. Om Purnamada Purnamitam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Ashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.